Hey, chosen champs, I hope you're having a blessed and positive day. I wanted to talk to you guys about how hard it is to actually transition into a newer version of you, a better version of you, a greater version of you. And that process of becoming is difficult. It's difficult because a lot of times you may have grew up around certain environments, and you may have grew up around certain family members and people, and they've taught you that being inside the box was okay, and that being less than was normal. They taught you that being average was normal, and it wasn't until you got older, it wasn't until you got a little bit wiser that you start to realize that no, being great and being extraordinary is what God called us to. He called us to be excellent stewards of everything that He has blessed us with, including our gifts and our creations. But it is difficult letting go of those old patterns because it's like you have learned how to live a certain way. You have learned how to be a certain way. And sometimes it's because of your family that you have grew up around. And sometimes it's just the environment. You just learned that this way was okay. And once you started to see that the results that they were getting from living the life that they've always lived, you start to wonder, like, I don't want that life. I don't want to stay in less than, because you always have a feeling that there's more. So there comes a point where you have to make a decision and decide that, you know what? This is not the life I want to live. I want more for myself. I want better for myself. I want greater for myself. So in order for me to get greater, I have to die to my old self. I have to literally die to the the mental thoughts that I had that was keeping me into that old version of me, into that version of me that I don't want to be, because that's never who God had intended. That's why it's important that you decide that even though it's difficult, that you go through the process of becoming. You go through the process of being transformed. You go through the process of shedding that old skin and shedding the old sins, because God is calling you into greater territory. He's calling you into greater things. And in order for you to receive greater, you have to be greater. You have to do greater habits. You have to have a greater mindset. That's why God says, it says, anyone that is in Christ is a new creation. And it says, the old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. So God is telling you that you have to become new. You have to become this new person. You have to become this this new version of who you thought you should be. Because there's an identity that the world has given you, and there's an identity that God has given you. But it's important that you tap into the identity that God is going to give you. But the process of changing is hard. The process of becoming is hard. It's difficult. There's days when it gets painful, but it's worth it. It's worth it, because staying in the same mindset and never growing, it actually hurts to stay stuck. It hurts staying in that same mindset and never getting anywhere. That's not good. You want to get into a place where you're constantly evolving, you're constantly growing spiritually and mentally and physically. You want to get into that place where you're elevating on those levels. But it is difficult. It's difficult letting go of those very things that you held value to. It's difficult. It's difficult saying no to the flesh and yes to the spirit. It's difficult. But if it was easy, then you wouldn't need God to help you with it. You need God to help you get to the other side. You need God to help you pull you through, because it's going to be days where it's challenging. But you staying the same and you never changing is going to hurt more in the long run. It's going to affect you more in the long run. So you just have to make the decision and decide, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to do the same thing you've always been doing? Or are you going to decide that you want a change and you want to see something different? But the process is hard. The process of shedding is not easy, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it when you finally get the life that you've been dreaming of. It's going to be worth it when you finally spiritually get elevated. When you finally start to feed your spirit, it's going to give you a type of sleep that you've never slept before. It's going to give you a type of comfort that you never felt before. Because you finally decided. You finally decided to go through that hard place to get to that great thing. So I know it's hard and I know it's difficult. And shedding the old you is also going to cause people to want to distance themselves from you. Because there's people that are not in their shedding season. They want to stay in their old season. And they see you trying to shed your old season. And they don't want you to. They want you to stay the old version of you. They want to stay the version of you that never gets ahead because that's who they were comfortable with. But they're not comfortable being around you shedding your old self because it's going to let them know that they need to start shedding their old self and shedding their old habits. So it's okay to be alone in this journey of shedding because God is always with you and He's going to guide you to help you shed. But you're going to have to do it. Even if it's difficult, even if it's hard. You're just going to have to do it. And this life of becoming a new creation is not going to be easy. But it's going to be worth it. So I want you to start your process of becoming a more healed version of you. Whatever the goal is for you, I want you to start the process, even if it's hard. All right, chosen champs. I'll see you guys next time. I love you. And excuse my nose is stopped up. My allergies have been bothering me. But like, comment, subscribe, and share. See you next time. Peace.